So the start of the college football season is almost here. Well, I guess it's technically already here. Like we had week 0, but that doesn't count. Week 1 is almost here. It's just around the corner. We got some heavyweight matchups, but we thought in preparation for this season, we'd take a look back at probably the best college football game we're ever going to get.
The Rose Bowl, my earliest sports memory ever. This game was pure cinema.
Before we start talking about the 2006 Rose Bowl, if you haven't already, make sure to leave this video a like, give us a subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on one of our videos. So in a lot of sports, there's generally not much of a consensus on what like the greatest game in the history of the sport is. Like the NBA, there's a bunch of contenders. The NFL, there's a few that come to mind. Soccer, who fucking knows? They probably got hundreds of contenders, but college football is one of the few sports where there's really not much of a debate. Like we've got plenty of good games, but for the most part, most people agree that the 2006 Rose Bowl, #1 USC against #2 Texas, is not only maybe the greatest college football game of all time, it might be straight up the greatest football game of all time. But how did we get there? Well, one of the big complaints in college football is that the national championship in some years kind of seems like a foregone conclusion. I mean, that's not much of a problem nowadays because of like, the expanded playoff and everything. But at the peak of like, the Bama Clemson years, it was really bad. Although I think this year might be the one exception to that rule.
I mean, all season, everybody knew it was going to be Texas and USC. They were by far the best teams in the sport. I mean, there was some close calls though. Texas won an early season thriller on the road at Ohio State. They had a back and forth game at the end of the season against Texas A&M. And USC, despite most people viewing them as the far superior team, actually had some close calls. They had an 18-point halftime comeback against ASU. Of course, there was the infamous Bush push against Notre Dame.
A totally illegal play that they got away with.
Yeah, went hard though.
Yeah, it did, yeah.
And weirdly enough, they had a big test at home late in the season against Fresno State. But after USC laid a beat down against UCLA, won 66-19 at the Coliseum, and Texas hammered Colorado, winning 70-3 in the Big 12 title game. The 2006 Rose Bowl matchup, it was set.
And like you mentioned, USC entering this game, heavy favorite. I mean, they were riding a 34-game winning streak. They hadn't lost since September of 2003, and that was a triple OT game against Aaron Rodgers and Cal. They were the defending BCS national champions. They had crushed Oklahoma the year prior. And if you actually go by the AP poll, they were the 2-time defending national champions because despite not playing in the 2004 Sugar Bowl, which was the national championship game that year, the AP just straight up awarded them the national championship in the final poll of the year by a huge margin, actually. They got, I think it was 48 first place votes or something like that compared to LSU, who actually won the national title. They only got 17. Oh, and by the way, the 2006 Rose Bowl was going to be the first and to date only game in college football history where 2 Heisman Trophy winners shared the field at the same time after having won the award, as 2004 winner Matt Leinart would be sharing the field with 2005 winner Reggie Bush. And Texas, they were riding a 19-game winning streak, including a comeback win over Michigan in the 2005 Rose Bowl, a game where Vince Young rushed for 4 touchdowns, and when asked about coming back to the Rose Bowl for the national championship game next year, he said,
"Yes, sir, we'll be back." Yes, sir.
Finished second in Heisman voting, threw for 3,000 yards, 26 passing touchdowns, also rushed for 1,000 yards. He was the Longhorns' leading rusher this season. But I mean, come on. For the most part, everyone thought this was USC's game to lose. Hadn't lost in 2.5 years, going for a 3rd straight national title, something that hadn't been done since the 30s. Hell, a lot of segments on SportsCenter leading up to this game were just them comparing the Trojans to some of the greatest teams that ever played college football.
I mean, in the modern era of like the playoff where winning streaks don't usually carry on across seasons, 2.5 years in college football not losing a game.
Yeah.
I don't see how you could pick against that. And just like the star power this USC team had. I mean, we've had big stars in college football. Tebow, Cam Newton, Johnny Manziel. But none of them except maybe Tebow could touch the star power of like Vince Young and especially Reggie Bush. Like Reggie Bush, I don't think I've ever seen a bigger star in college sports. There was no NFL teams in LA at the time. The Lakers, post Shaq, they were a bit down. Outside of Kobe Bryant, Reggie Bush, he had to be the most popular star in LA. His jersey was everywhere. I mean, shit, look can walk around Portland some days randomly. You might see a Reggie Bush jersey.
You see a number 5 USC jersey every once in a while. I'd say like one a year. You're just like at the mall or something. Some dude walks past you in a USC Reggie Bush jersey. It's just like, it's been 20 years.
Yeah, I mean, the number 5 too is like a running back. This is before like it's more opened up where players, like skilled players, can choose whatever position they want. There were so many like celebrities like Will Ferrell, Snoop Dogg. USC football around this era, absolutely massive.
They felt like an NFL team in college.
Exactly.
Honestly. So the game kicked off at 5 p.m. local time, January 4th, 2006. Also something I noticed, and this is something that just doesn't exist in sports anymore. When the ball is first kicked off, all the camera flashes in the crowd. Like, I went back and watched some of the highlights for the CFP games we had this past year. Not a single camera flash. And like, it's something from a bygone era that you're not gonna see anymore because everyone's got, you know, cameras on their phones with like low light mode and everything like that. But going back and watching like old sporting events from this time and just seeing like all the camera flashes in the crowd as like big moments happen, it's one of those little things that just adds like more importance and like aura to the event that sadly just because of technology just doesn't exist anymore.
Anyways, on to the game itself. Texas on the first possession got off to a great start. They hold that high-powered USC offense to a 3-and-out, but Aaron Ross fumbles on the punt return. USC recovers, and Lendell White would punch things in 4 plays later. A guy we haven't even touched on yet, Lendell White. Insane that he was their second best running back, led the country in touchdowns, was like 14th in rushing yards, basically had like Marshawn Lynch back there, like the perfect 1-2 punch. I don't know what the hell he did in the NFL, but in college at USC, absolutely dominant.
Yeah, I mean, the rest of the first quarter was actually marked by the defense's holding. USC forced Texas to a turnover on downs at midfield. Then Texas forced a USC turnover on downs after stopping a QB sneak by Matt Leinart. Should have ran the Bush push again. I mean, it worked at Notre Dame Stadium. They didn't call it. Like, why not run it back? And after another Texas punt, USC got the ball back and was actually driving down the field. Second play of the second quarter, Leinart drops off a screen pass to Bush, who just knifes his way through the Texas defense like a hot knife through butter before trying to lateral the ball to receiver Brad Walker, but the ball is a bit behind him. Texas recovers the fumble. Now, I get what Reggie's going for here, and honestly, if he completed that, might have been one of the best plays in the history of the sport. Considering where the game's going so far, your defense really hasn't had much trouble holding Texas at all. You're about to be inside the 25-yard line. You're up 7. You're either going to go up 10 or even up 14. Just seems like a little bit of an unnecessary risk to take.
It's one of the most bizarre plays you'll ever see in a national championship game. Like you said, like I see the vision, but just a strange play. Texas gets the ball back. They drive 53 yards in 9 plays and convert a field goal to get on the board. SC then drives down into Texas territory, but they turn the ball over again. Matt Leinart sails the ball to Steve Smith. It's intercepted by Michael Griffin. An incredible play. Originally was called just incomplete, but clearly got his foot inbounds. Texas, another huge stop deep in their own territory. Texas then drives down the field. This time they score their first touchdown when Vince Young basically pulls off the play Reggie tried to. This time it's actual designed option. He finds Selvin Young, gives Texas the lead, but they do miss the extra point. Next USC drive, it's killed by penalties, and Texas, they capitalize a 1-minute, 12-second drive, and they push the lead up to 9.
Yeah, I mean, USC gets a little bit of momentum going into the second half. They get a 41-yard field goal at the buzzer, but still, Texas is leading 16-10 going into halftime. All the momentum in the world, and then USC came out in the second half and just started rolling. Leinart started carving up that Texas defense, and Lendell White and Reggie Bush just started tearing off long run after long run. White rushed for 2 touchdowns in the third quarter, and Bush added a 26-yard score early in the fourth. Texas kept pace thanks to a Vince Young rushing touchdown in the third and a field goal in the fourth, but after Leinart threw a 22-yard touchdown pass to Dwayne Jarrett with 6:42 to go, USC had pushed the lead up to 12, and at this point, you know, the USC players and fans start to celebrate, and this is kind of how I think most people thought the game would go. You know, Texas, great team, right? They're going to put up a good fight, but a USC triumph in the Rose Bowl in LA felt almost inevitable. Well, Texas marched 70 yards in less than 3 minutes, and after a 17-yard rush by Vince Young, the Longhorns were back within 5 points, and I think this is where the nerves started to set in for USC fans, because it's kind of like, you know, when Tracy McGrady got the last 3-pointer when he was doing his 13 points in 35 seconds, like, he's raising up for that jump shot, and there's no doubt in anybody's mind that it's going through the hoop. Like, he raises up for it, it's going, and everyone knows it. I think everyone kind of knew, like, if Texas gets the ball back, they're going to score, they're going to win.
Well, SC, they get the ball back, and they got 1 first down, and actually on a 3rd and 7, Lendell White has his first fumble of the year. USC does recover it, but they lose like 1.5 yard in the process. So this sets up a huge 4th and 2, 2:13 remaining at the Texas 45. USC, they decided to go for it. True Pete Carroll fashion there. For some reason though, and it was just like a weird image seeing him on the sidelines, Reggie Bush not in the game.
Yeah.
I mean, why not just have him as a decoy, you know, put him in motion or something? I guess
start him in the backfield and motion him out. Maybe it takes someone out of the box, right?
Yeah, you lose a blocker there, but still, I think that's worth having him on the field. He's the Heisman Trophy winner, but he's not on the field. It was probably already obvious they were going to Lendell White, but they go to him and he does not get it. And I gotta say, like, watching this back, it kind of brought back flashbacks. I was a fan of a Pete Carroll coach team, the Seahawks in the Super Bowl. Did he not run it because, you know, he had PTSD for this moment?
Oh.
The world will never know.
That's a fun conspiracy to kick around. I mean, the general agreed upon story is that he threw it because he wanted like Russ to get the touchdown or whatnot. But honestly, yeah, I mean, because Lendell White's a very similar player to Marshawn Lynch.
That's what I'm thinking.
You know, big power back, big and strong. Goes for it here, doesn't get it, and it ends up biting him. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, maybe all those years later, Pete still had PTSD for this game. Either way, Texas gets the stop. They get the football back with 2 minutes, 9 seconds left. They march down the field, aided by a USC face mask on a 3rd down. But after an incompletion, the Longhorns are facing 4th and 5, national championship on the line. SC sends pressure, but Vince Young gets to the outside, gets to the corner of the end zone, and gives Texas the lead with only 19 seconds left. Every time I watch this play, I always laugh at the Longhorn mascot giving Vince a hug afterwards. I mean, I can't imagine like the amount of adrenaline that's going through that guy at the moment, but he just like stands there a little stoically with the ball and just like the Longhorns like, yeah, hook 'em horns and everything. It's really funny to me. An iconic play, an iconic call by Keith Jackson in what was his final telecast. Also, poor Frosty Rucker. I mean, that kid is gonna be on a poster forever. I mean, you can tell like he's busting his ass too to try to get out to Vince Young. He's like throwing his arms, he's running as hard as he can, but I mean, that's like, you know, Vince Young, you're not getting out there in time. Texas goes for the QB draw on the 2-point conversion. They get it to lead by 3 with only 19 seconds left. USC on their final drive, they actually do pretty well. Leinart shuffles it to Bush, who gets 26 yards and out of bounds at the Texas 43. So I mean, if you can get 10-ish yards on the next play, you got a chance at a long field goal because they still had like 10 seconds left. Leinart though, he doesn't get the ball out quickly, and his pass intended for Dwayne Jarrett goes off his hands and out of bounds with 0 seconds left on the clock. Texas holds off USC to win 41-38, winning their first national championship in 35 years. Vince Young throws for 267 yards passing on 75% completion percentage and fucking ran for 200 yards and 3 touchdowns too.
God
like,
damn.
if a running back did that in a championship game, that's an otherworldly performance. For a quarterback to throw for 267 and run for 200 in a championship game is unbelievable.
It's the greatest college football game ever. The second half especially, just so much fireworks, back and forth emotions. Texas was rolling in the first half, only for SC to turn things up in the second half. It looks like they have the game late in the 4th, and then Texas pulls off that incredible comeback, and Vince Young makes maybe the greatest play in college football history.
All in the Rose Bowl too, you know, most iconic stadium in the history of the sport.
And it's like Texas versus California, like the cultural war between them. Like there's so many different layers to this game. Like I said, it was my first like sports memory that I can remember. I don't remember from the game. Besides the one iconic Vince Young play, we had this one family at the elementary school we went to that was just huge USC fans. I hated USC so much in this era, so I wanted to see Texas win, and I was so happy to see them win that game. So yeah, just so much nostalgia for this game. I love this era of college football, and like we've said multiple times, it's the greatest game in the history of the sport.
Yeah, I mean, we've gotten some great moments since, and I'm sure we'll have great moments in the future, but you're right. I mean, the lead up, the hype, the expectations, the star power, the stage, the players in the game, like this is about as good as it gets in terms of college football. That's the video, guys. What do you remember most about the 2006 Rose Bowl? I'd love to hear what you have to say in the comments down below. If you enjoyed the video, consider leaving it a like, as it really does help us out. And while you're here, why not check out some of our other videos as well? And don't forget to subscribe to Synthetic Sports.